Olympia, your father was a real chineur, as we say in France, always in auction houses, antique shop. Could you tell us?
I think he was looking for the unexpected. He was always looking for something different, and his taste, I think, varied according to periods. He would be really into artists from the 40s and then suddenly sell everything and switch to Oriental tiles. And then he'd go to Rome and he'd find a small piece of a Roman ruin, and then he'd be into that. And it was always changing. That's why it was interesting, I suppose.
And he was fond of accumulation in a way.
He was fond of accumulation, but he would always say that he was not really attached to any of those things, that it was the chase and the find, the hunt, basically, that was interesting to him.
And what do you think was his really favorite object?
His children.
But you are better than objects, right? And less steel.
In a way.
And could you speak about Le
Tan was my grandfather. He was a Vietnamese painter who came to Paris in the 30s. He came to paint the pavillon vietnamien at the Cité Universitaire. Was it? Oh, that needs to be verified. Okay. And he was part of a group of Vietnamese artists that all came to France at that time. And a few years later, he met my grandmother, who was French, and he never went back to Vietnam. And so he painted a lot of flowers, women, very traditional Vietnamese paintings, really. A lot of the early ones were on silk. And he actually taught me how to paint. I used to have painting classes with him.
Wow.
On Wednesday afternoons when I was a teenager. That was where I would go to get rid of my emotions. And
what was his influence on your father's style or on your father's taste?
I'm not sure, really. He was a very delicate and precise painter. So maybe that. And I think he taught him a lot about taste, and I'm not sure, really.
But you were living with a lot of Le Tan painting around, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you remember one particularly?
Well, I remember living with one more recently, actually, that my father had lent me, apparently. It was in my apartment in Paris, and it was a portrait of my grandmother with her two sons, my dad and my uncle, at their country house. And it was something that I think my grandfather had painted in the 50s, and it was really beautiful, but I no longer have it.
Mm. What do you think about the auction at Sotheby's?
Well, I don't really know much about it, so I don't think much about it. I think it's a shame that the people involved didn't ask the children to be involved in any way, because we spent most of our childhood with our father going to auction houses, antique shops all around the world, and watching him collect all these pieces. So it just feels strange to have this happen and not really know anything about it.
Merci.